really one of the first places, where I got to kind of experience just family and community. We were definitely that area. We were a tight-knit community. We knew all of our neighbors. I was 18. My birthday's in October. So I was 18 when I started. It was like summer of 18, when I was 2009, when I was 18 years old. Just started making music for myself, started like taking different beats that I liked from other artists. He actually named me this DJ Dominator, and it was dumb looking back at it. It really
it's cheesy, but it's tight.
It was so cheesy, bro. We are in a commercial building. We have a professional recording studio. Everything that you see 100% was self-funded. We never used a grant, personal loan, or anything like that. Everything you see was from blood, sweat, tears. And of course, I have a new single dropping at the beginning of April, which is part of my now one verse series, One Verse 6. I know it's going to sound super cliche, but be yourself. At the time when I started as an artist, especially like around 2013, I became a worship pastor.
Welcome, everyone. You are now tuned in to Frequency Modulation 228. Welcome to the studio. On here, we will be showcasing talent of all ranges and walks of life. We are here to bring in the future. So sit back and relax before the radio show.
What's up, y'all? TXNITRUE here, frontrunner at Anyone Can Thrive Studios. This is Before the Radio Show. Today we got a dope interview. We got Dominique in the building. How you doing, bro?
Doing good, man. How are you?
I'm pretty good.
Good.
It's first time meeting, getting to sit down with each other.
Yeah, I know we've been following each other for a hot minute. So.
Yeah, it's been a while. Usually add everybody and see till we actually work or whatever together and shit. But let's go into a little bit of your backstory, like where you born and raised at.
Yeah, so born in Honolulu, Hawaii. Military brat, love it. We moved to Fort Carson when I was a kid. That was their last station. That was the last one. And I was raised by my grandparents, by my mom's parents. And was raised mostly in Colorado Springs, graduated from Palmer High School. Even though I went to Mitchell High School as well, but my last years, we're going to go to Palmer. But it was still cool. Graduated still on time and everything. Colorado Springs is still technically home, but yeah.
How was it growing up in Springs, going to school and stuff?
It was actually okay. So as a kid, being raised in the late 90s, early 2000s, Colorado Springs, we actually had fun. I'm not gonna lie. We actually had a lot of fun. A lot of the things that I know some of the kids probably enjoy today, we've, got to witness a lot of it firsthand, especially when it came to music. I remember going as a kid to local record store, independent records on East Platte Avenue. Buying my first, CDs and buying I think one of the first CDs I actually got to buy as a kid was NSYNC's first album. That was one of the first that I got to buy from that store. So I remember, again, as a kid, just waiting in line, seeing artists, come through and things like that. And so, Colorado Springs, it was fun. There was, I would say as far as growing up in the area, I grew up, the first area that I grew up in was over by John Adams Elementary School, 1022 Stewart Place. That was the first house that I grew up in. You can literally see Evergreen Cemetery right from the backyard. It was a really fun area, and I think that was really one of the first places, where I got to kind of experience just family and community. We were definitely that area. We were a tight-knit community. We knew all of our neighbors. Neighbors knew us. Even, neighbors from 2-3 blocks away They knew who you were, you knew who they were. And yeah, no, it was really dope growing up over there. But then we ended up moving over by Mitchell High School, and then moving over there. And yeah, that was actually pretty cool. It was very quiet, a very quiet area. So I didn't really, witness too much, but no, it was cool. Like I liked growing up in the Springs overall, but also getting to travel as a kid. I was raised in the church, so getting to travel through that and being a musician and getting to, meet different gospel and Christian artists as well. So, but yeah, no, it was dope. I'm not gonna lie, it really was.
That's awesome. Did you move around a lot, like during that period, during the military, bro?
No, we really didn't move around. I think for them, Pops definitely was the one that was more like, going place to place. Even after the military, when he started working for, we started working for MCI at first. Those who know MCI, that's old. That was before Intel and all them. But then Intel came into play and he started working over there. So Intel would have him traveling like all around the country, just doing different things. He was one of their senior engineers. So that's pretty much how I got to travel and see the world when we get to go see him. Or even when we go to like different church conferences, we would go out of state just to, for me to play, sing, whatever. But also vacations. As well. So, but yeah, they definitely wanted to make sure that, I got to see different cultures. And even my own family, we're a big melting pot. So getting to see, I always tell people, I was raised kind of bougie and ratchet a little bit. So I got to see my super country cousins, but then you go to the bougie side where you go to all the Broadway shows and the operas and all that.
Yeah.
And then you come back to the Midwest where everyone was kind of like, kind of ratchet. Yeah. Like your cousin introducing you to Tupac and Cisco. And that was one of the things that at first I wasn't allowed to like listen to, a lot of the worldly music. But thanks to my cousins and, God's sisters and all them, they actually snuck it in and I fell in love with it. But yeah, no, it was cool. That was definitely a good time in my life.
That's cool. So was the church always a big influence growing up?
Yeah.
And then did you, so you actually got to travel with your parents, with your dad every once in a while when you would leave instead of having to stay home alone?
Yeah. There were times, especially as I became a teenager where I was like, I could stay home by myself, and they would let me. They'd be like, all right, here's $300, But yeah, no, I got to travel. Sometimes, you got to travel with them sometimes, especially like to different places like California, especially Houston. Houston, we have family there. That's where Pops is from. But, definitely got to travel a lot to Houston. He made sure like that was, one place we always got to go. Mostly because I guess historically speaking, Houston was just, a big place in his heart. So he wanted me to know the city, he wanted me to know the people, wanted me to know family and all that. So, but yeah, I got to travel with him. Mom and I got to travel thanks to the Gospel Music Workshop of America. We traveled with our chapter to many different cities, especially over on the East Coast and down south. So yeah, so it was kind of a mix traveling, but it was fun.
That's awesome. That's cool. So were those like workshops and missionary trips that you did through the church as well?
Yeah, some of it was through the church. My church that I grew up in, Emmanuel Missionary Baptist Church, at the time was on 1 South Walnut, downtown Colorado Springs. That church was a big influence, especially musically. I grew up singing in the choir ever since I could talk. I grew up singing in the choir. It was at that church, where I became a musician. It was at that church where I became and learned how to direct choirs, how to, harmonize choirs, how to run rehearsals. It was there that I really grew, I guess you could say, into my musical self. And they were very supportive. They allowed young people, especially at the time, growing up, 90s, early 2000s, they allowed young people to come forth and learn. And because we had some of the best musicians like Colorado probably had to offer.
Yeah.
So we always had the best choir, always had the best choir directors. And yeah, definitely learned from them. And I think just that influence like really helped me as an adult.
Yeah, that's awesome. I could see that. And that's cool that your music foundation was built around faith.
Yep.
Being the main influence.
Definitely.
Stuff. So what kind of, like after school, high school and stuff, what type of music did you start getting into when you started creating yourself?
So
when did you start creating your own music?
Yeah, well, when I started creating for myself, before that, yes, R&B music was like my biggest genre. Like I love, the thing about me is that I'm very eclectic. So I do love other genres. My main genres that I really do love that I listen to like religiously would be jazz, R&B, hip hop. Those are the main three. And, and again, growing up in church, gospel music was also very big to me, but, I just felt like jazz and hip hop and R&B definitely gave me more freedom. I felt freer when I would listen to it and when I would sing it. And so, so once I did start in 2009, was the official me, getting the laptop, having the software and all that. And started making music, and I made my first mixtape on GarageBand.
Good start.
Yeah, that was, again, back in the day when GarageBand was not with Logic.
Yeah, when it was just starting out.
Yeah, like when this is when GarageBand like first became like pretty big in the world of music.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a good time.
That's cool. How old were you around that time?
I was 18. I mean, my birthday's in October, so I was 18 when I started. It was like summer of 18. When I was 2009, when I was 18 years old. Just started making music for myself. Started like taking different beats that I liked from other artists, and just started building and making and like writing my own stuff. And at the time, I wasn't good. I really wasn't. But again, just kept going, and eventually that's when I met, a proclaimed King of Colorado, Mr. Confidential. That's when I met him, and he signed me that year to his label.
That's cool.
Yep.
So was that your first record deal?
Yep, my very first. It was super simple. It was one page. It was super simple.
That's cool. Was it just a distribution deal?
At the time, it was more so distribution mentorship than anything else. And we would put out. So my first mixtape came under Confidential Records. We put out on DatPiff. For those who know, datpiff.com was huge in the mixtape world.
Yeah.
It was the go-to. Like if you wanted the mixtapes, that's where you went. You know what I'm saying? It was even for big artists, Lil Wayne, Trey Songz, Chris Brown, all of them used DatPiff to put out their mixtapes. So yeah, we put out my first mixtape on DatPiff. It actually did pretty good, surprisingly. It did pretty good.
Start.
And that was my first deal. We put out 4 mixtapes under them, even through my performer name changes that we did it. And eventually we decided to part ways. It was a mutual agreement. There's no bad blood whatsoever.
Yeah.
It was just a mutual agreement. And yeah.
What was your first artist name? How did you release that mixtape?
So my first artist name, so my legal name is Dominique, but because a lot of people acted as if they couldn't say my first name correctly, my first performer name was Dominique, and it was just, that's what it was. And then by the second mixtape, it changed to Dominic R, because my last name starts with an R. And then it changed again to another character, which is when I started DJing. And I forgot, actually my friend in Australia, he actually named me this DJ Dominator, and it was dumb. looking back at it. It really,
It's cheesy, but it's tight.
it was so cheesy, bro. Like, but at the time, this is what, 2009, 2010, 2012, 2011. So
Perfect for that era.
yeah, it made sense for the era, but it just sucked. But at the time, we were still putting out mixtapes. I was networking, meeting artists from around the country, and we put mixtapes together, and actually the mixtapes were pretty dope. But yeah, that was the next name change, and then eventually, through my management deal that I had, we changed my name to what it is now, which is a DMINQ, which is just 5 dominant letters of my name. And that one stuck. Like, out of all the names, that one just totally stuck because it made more sense.
Yeah.
But also, when you look it up, I'm the only face that pops up.
Yeah.
So it was like, okay, this makes sense. It makes it easy for people to find me. And so, yeah, we just stuck to that and made my first official album and came out as DMINQ.
That's cool. So, over the period of name changes and stuff, did you like think of branding along to that point? Because spelling it that way is definitely perfect for branding. That's why I spell my artist name the way that I do instead of, because it's Tony True and I could have just put TONYTRUE.
Right.
Just spell it like that, but there's gonna be tons of those, and me spelling it different would separate me from everybody else. Were you like thinking of that along the time?
Not at first, but as my first album grew in terms of like production, yeah, it started coming around then. Like, oh, this could be like my whole thing, like my entire brand. So yeah, and it still is. Like, here we are years later, and I'm still the only face that pops up when you look up DMINQ. So definitely was a smart choice.
Yeah,
for sure.
Cool. So along your music journey, like in the beginning, were you more DIY? Did you learn a lot by yourself, or did you eventually go to school?
So yeah, that's a good question. So actually, I did start going to school at Full Sail University online. I ended up dropping out just because, I'm like, at the time. So the funny part is, I graduated high school with honors in academics and music. So obviously, I'm like, okay, I'm smart, right?
Yeah.
But once I got to Full Sail University online, I'm just like, okay, me in school is not good. It's not gonna happen. So from after I ended up dropping out, it definitely became more of a DIY trial and error. And everything that I've learned, because I even learned this from people who graduated from Full Sail University. They're like, bro, everything that I know came from trial and error.
Yeah.
None of this came from what they taught me in school. None of it. And it's like, okay, that let me know, okay, did I need to go to school? It would have been a great start and a great foundation, but in reality, no. Like, it's just there's nothing school can teach you that experience will. That's the thing. You can learn a lot from books, but actually hands-on experience, actually sitting there and actually looking at the screen and they taught us, the basis of like what is D beats, and all that stuff. But again, actually learning how to piece together the song and the software, how to look for different things. That definitely came trial and error.
Yeah. So was going to college before you went, did you feel like it was going to be a big help for you, or did you just do it to do it?
A little bit of both. I did think it was going to be cool. Like, great, I'm going to go get this degree. And then I'll be like, the whole world is going to open up. And then, over time, I'm like, So, but in a way, it did help. It did.
At least laid the foundation for you to get some stuff.
Exactly.
How long did you stay and actually stick with it? Because we probably did the 4-year.
It was at the time it was a 4-year, and I think probably still is. And I think I stayed about a year and a half.
that's enough time to at least get the foundation and stuff.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to do Full Sail as well. I was looking at Full Sail and Crass and stuff.
Okay.
Like when I first got out of high school, and I was gonna do it, and I got approved for financial aid, and that's the only reason why I was gonna do it. And then I kept getting like something sending back like a hit to where I would end up having to pay for it. So and the financial aid wouldn't work, so I didn't even end up doing it. But I definitely agree with you there. Like I feel like even if I did do the 4 years there, because that's 10 years ago now.
Yeah.
So even if I did do the 4 years, I feel like I got a fucking, like now from just doing it for as long as I've been doing it, I probably have a doctorate fucking brownie mindset compared to if I just went to fucking school for it.
Yeah.
And then if I did go to school for it, I might not even have liked it. And then the online compared to going in person, it probably would have been better to do it in person, but then still same thing. The only difference is you just get access to the equipment earlier instead of having to spend money on it and stuff.
True. And with Full Sail, you do get equipment. Like, they'll send you...
Just the computer and stuff, though.
Well, at the time, so that's the thing. This is, 16 something years ago?
So you got more than just a computer?
At the time, yeah. You got the computer, a startup mic, interface, saw the software. Yeah, at the time. And the funny part is I still got some of that stuff. I still do. I think the first interface, which was the one that they sent me, was an M-Box. Old school M-Box. Old M-Box. And then the microphone was a Sennheiser E3385, I believe.
So you got that's a condenser, right?
No, it was dynamic. And I still have that microphone.
That's cool.
And it still sounds as perfect as it did back then. But yeah, no, back then they would send you the equipment. Now, I don't know. Like you said, they probably just send you the computer now.
Yeah.
But yeah, back then your tuition included the full package. That's the full startup package, which was kind of attractive. Because it's like, I don't have to pay. I mean, you're paying for the equipment, but you're not. You know what I'm saying? Because I did also get financial aid, but also I'm a Native American too. So my tribe also pitched in a grant as well for me to go. So yeah, I mean, so technically I paid for it. Technically I didn't.
Yeah. That's cool though. Shit. Yeah, at least you got the equipment and experience for it. What was like the first piece of gear that you picked up then, like after that? You started making music. Yeah,
after that, the very first piece of gear I bought was Reason Essentials. You know, it's old school.
Yeah.
But yeah, Reason Essentials, back when Reason first introduced their cheaper line of a DAW, because we all know Reason is like $400+ at the time. So I'm like, I don't have it, but they introduced Reason Essentials at the time. If I remember, it was like $99. So I got that. That was the first thing, because I'm like, okay. I was kind of playing around with different DAWs. So I'm like, I had Pro Tools, had Logic, I'm just, had GarageBand. So I'm like, I'm just playing around at this point. And then after that, bought my first condenser microphone, and it was the MXL 990.
I have that microphone right there.
I think, I actually gave mine away to a friend in Chicago. And yeah, so that was the next piece of gear. Looking back, I'm like, this gear was garbage back then.
Yeah.
But no, back in the day, MXL 990 was like everyone's favorite budget startup microphone outside of the Sterling, and it was an Audio-Technica AT2020. So outside of those, that was the next. That was the next big thing.
That was the budget.
That was
How
it.
How much was it back then? Probably like 150, 300. No.
It was like 60.
Damn, because right now I think they're 150.
How? Well, they must have upgraded something, because back in the day, if I remember right, they were like $60 or 99, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I'm like, the price just went up. I'm like 150. They must have done some upgrades to it.
It's a nice microphone for what it is, but you have to know how to record. Like if you just set up the microphone, no EQ, raw like that, in an untreated room, it's not too good of a microphone, but you can get it to work pretty good.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Mic.
Oh yeah, it was, like I said, it was cool. I did my second mixtape with that mic. It was pretty cool.
Let's start.
It worked. It did its job.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So, what's something that you're working on right now? Like, do you have any business ventures or anything you're working on right now? And what you have coming in the future?
Well, yeah, that was a good question. So,
I touch on Art Matters.
Yes. So, give you guys a little bit of backstory of Art Matters Productions. We are the first arts and entertainment production company in Rocky Ford. And when I say that, I mean like we are in a commercial building. We have a professional recording studio. Everything that you see, 100% was self-funded. We never used a grant, personal loan, or anything like that. Everything you see was from blood, sweat, tears, and hard work. But yeah, no, we set that up 4 years ago. Took my spouse's other half of the building that he owns and gutted it. Took all that furniture. You should have saw me, dude. I was like, Incredible Hulk and furniture out of there. He would come up to the front and see me take a whole couch and just shove it out the room. He's like, the fuck is wrong with you? But did that. Took about roughly a month and a half to set up the studio. And at the time, the only equipment that I had was the equipment that we bought over the years prior to that. And yeah, just over time, just upgraded and kept upgrading and kept upgrading. We are the first ones in Rocky Ford. We've done events. We still do events. But we've also partnered with, organizations such as the LGBTQ Chamber of Commerce, the Trust Center in Colorado Springs. And we do events through them as well, touching different people, touching the lives of different people. Right now we have 4 artists in Rocky Ford that we work with. All of them are actually from Rocky Ford and La Junta. And we've built a community, of artists and artistry that I think right now is unmatched as far as that area is concerned. But outside of that, right now, no other business adventures, other than events, which I do have events coming up, especially I do have a couple events coming up in Pueblo. For those that don't know, I also host a lot of parties. I do, party hosting, not just as a DJ, but as an MC as well. So we have a few events coming to Pueblo for the first time. Because I don't think Pueblo's ever had these events, so it's going to be very interesting. But yeah, outside of that, just getting ready to release more music and videos and more content, and even not just for myself, but for the artists I work with.
Yeah. Do you have anything out right now that's like one of your favorite projects from Art Matters?
Ooh, okay. Let's see. I think my favorite project was my 3rd album I put out last year, entitled Where's the Lie. That was my first all rap album. Because again, I'm a singer, I'm an R&B dude, but there was a period where I was sick, and it messed with my voice. So I really couldn't sing the way I wanted to, even though I was trying. So put together my first rap album, Where's the Lie. I think it's a great project. I actually love it more now than I did when I first did it.
Yeah.
But that's probably my favorite one. One of my favorite ones. My other favorite one is not out yet, but it's my artist Caitlin Tibble's sophomore album that's coming hopefully later this year. I've listened to it multiple times, and I'm like, okay, like this album is dope. But also I would say my favorite video, I guess, from Art Matters is 1 verse 4. And it's on my Facebook. It's pinned at the top somewhere. But yeah, those are my favorites right now.
Nice. I'll have to go check both those out. I think I've heard like one of your tracks from that album.
Probably.
Check out one of those other ones. So you haven't done any events in Pueblo yet? What kind of events are you bringing?
Well, so I guess I haven't put on any events in Pueblo. I performed for Pueblo Pride. which I haven't really performed much in Pueblo, which is very interesting considering that I'm kind of still kind of close to Pueblo where I live.
45 minutes away.
45 minutes, yeah. And yes, I mean, I would love to perform in Pueblo. I mean, the first time I actually performed in Pueblo was 2021. Funny part about that, so you know the coffee shop in downtown by the Riverwalk?
Yes. Depends which one. There's a couple.
So at the time it was called Grindhouse.
Yes, I know which one you're talking about.
Yeah,
that's
so
the one that's right next to. I can't remember the name. It's a restaurant.
Yeah.
There's the military surplus, and across the street is the Gold. Is it Gold Saloon?
I think either it's Gold Saloon or is it the?
I can't remember the name.
It might be the antique shop.
There's an antique shop too. I know what you're talking about though.
Yeah.
Gold Dust Saloon.
There it is, Gold Dust. Yeah. So I was supposed. So the funny part is, I had set up months prior for me to do a show there. The funny part about that is the lady. So the events coordinator that I talked to and was working with, she quit. Didn't tell anybody that she booked that she quit. So the new people took over and thought, because she didn't give them anything. Yeah. She didn't give them a list. She didn't give them a calendar. Nothing. So they had nothing to go off of. So they thought they could just, pile events, right?
Yeah.
No, well, they put together an entire rock music fest. And they did it in the back part of the building. And I show up. Because that was the day I was supposed to do my show. And the guy came out. Well, I'm like, yeah, I'm supposed to do a show here today. And they're like, what? And I'm like, who'd you talk to? And I told them who I talked to. They're like, they're like, fuck my life, bro. They're like, yeah, she left. And yeah, she did not tell you, we're assuming. I'm like, yeah, she didn't tell me. So just out of kindness, they were like, you know what? Since you came all the way here, how about we squeeze you into the music fest? So they did. Just out of being kind. Yeah. Mind you, this is a rock music festival. I'm R&B and pop. Yeah. Like, this is not gonna fucking work. But I had my set list. I said, I'm like, okay, fine. I'll do it, right? So we hooked everything up. I ended up being like the intermission and in between stuff. Because I guess there was the band that was supposed to go after me or before me ended up not showing up. So they're like, okay, fuck, we need to figure out what to do for the next hour. So they said, hey, so they threw me up there. I did a full 30-minute set. And the interesting part is, as soon as I opened my mouth and started singing, the other bands and everyone started gathering in front of me. And that 30 minutes, now, I mean, it was a great 30 minutes, probably one of the best performances I've done in a while, at the time. Yeah, they loved what I did. They loved my voice. They gave me so much, kudos. People were giving me hugs, and they were just so accepting of, and they were like, you know what, honestly, this was a good way to break up the show. Because people were like, we're low-key kind of tired of hearing people scream in the freaking microphone. And so that was the first performance I did in Pueblo. And then, of course, the second one was I did Pueblo Pride. And I kind of wish Pueblo Pride would have given me a little bit more time, because I'm like, come on, people, 20 minutes.
Jeez.
Like, come on, y'all know what
it festival should have given you 30.
Right, but I'm also kind of like, y'all know what would have wrecked this place. Like, y'all know, but it's fine. I actually had a really good time. But that's where I started meeting, I met a couple artists, a couple LGBT artists here in Pueblo. And one of them, we've actually done a couple songs together. Shelly Rizma. Super dope. I like her. She's awesome. She's super fun. But yeah, so far that's my history as far as performing in Pueblo. But yeah, so this year is like the first year now I get to actually host events here in Pueblo. And but yeah, that's coming up April 17th. We're bringing Drag Bingo. Yep, myself, my crew, small business showcase out of Colorado Springs. And Cava, Colorado Pueblo, we're putting on drag bingo for the first time. And so far, the response to the advertisement has been like really, really positive.
Yeah.
So hopefully it stays that way. But the next event that we just set up today is, I don't know if you have ever seen, it's on YouTube. It's a show called Pop the Balloon.
I don't think so.
Okay, it's huge in the Black community and now the gay the gay community. This is probably one of the most interesting / most toxic dating shows I've ever seen in my life. And it's super fun to watch. And you'll literally find yourself screaming at the screen because you're like, you get into it. It's super fun.
Yeah.
So I decided, I was like, okay, what if we were to play this in real life? Because I know Cava, Colorado Pueblo, they did speed dating. And I didn't get to go, but I heard it was pretty cool. But I'm like, okay, why don't I bring this concept? Let's make it a little bit more fun. So June 18th, we're bringing Pop the Balloon live and in person for Pride Month. So that's going to be fun. But like I said, if you've never seen Pop the Balloon, I could explain it to you.
I'll go check.
Go watch it.
Sure. Yeah, that sounds like it will be super cool. We need stuff like that. Stuff that's more interactive.
Oh yeah,
those are always the funnest type of events. Instead of just having people come out and see music or have music played in the background and stuff.
Yeah.
It's always fun to make it more interactive. Where are both those going to be at? We said April 17th, drag bingo, and then
June 18th. Yeah.
June 18th?
Yep, and both of those will be at Cava, Colorado Pueblo.
Nice.
Yep, they're on East Apariendo.
Yeah.
Like, not too far from the library. Like, you can literally see the library from the front door.
Nice.
But yeah, no, it's going to be, both events are going to be super fun. But like I said, I would love to come out here and actually do a show. I would love to do, because I mean, yes, I'm LGBT. I know that sometimes that kind of like weirds people out when they invite me to come and do shows.
Doesn't have to. I don't know why people think anyway.
I think
community.
Well, I think part of it is because they think, and then I actually have gotten this, where they think I'm coming with glitter everywhere, and I'm just gonna like be coming out in a tutu and rainbow and all this other stuff. But I'm like, if you've ever seen my performance videos, I'm dressed like this.
Just a regular artist. You're not doing a drag performance.
Not at all. I mean, I'll come out in shorts, Nikes, a t-shirt, and a freaking Chicago Bulls snapback.
Yeah.
You know, and it'll be some of the gayest music a little bit, but then when we get to, you know, especially the hip hop side, I think that's the thing. I think the hip hop side is my most, I guess you say, aggressive side to myself. So people have started to kind of gravitate towards that a little bit. But no, as a performer, I'm very much aware of the type of artist I am. And yeah, it's one of those, I can explain it, but
just gotta see you and hear the music.
Invite me out and see what happens.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Have you been to like the downtown bar or any of the other venues here?
I have. I've been to the downtown bar several times, went and seen, you know, drag shows, you know. I
DJ them every other month. I've been DJing the drag and burlesque shows there.
Nice. I do love when they do those shows. It's actually, cause I mean, the downtown bar, even though it's small, it is small, but the vibes is always fun. I mean, the drinks are always good. I always have a good time every time I've gone. So, but it's a cool bar. And I think, honestly, it's a good bar for anyone.
Yeah.
Like, it's not just LGBT. Like, even if you are not into drag or burlesque, just go there on a regular Friday, Saturday night. It's actually pretty chill.
Yeah, it's super chill. A lot of people usually bar hop and go between all the bars over the Capitol, Breakers, and right there. Because they're all right next to each other.
Yeah. And it's a good little strip. It's not bad.
Yeah. So do you have any advice that you would have told yourself like 5-10 years ago that you feel could have propelled you forward further than you are now?
Honestly, I think I would tell myself now, I know it's going to sound super cliche, but be yourself. At the time when I started as an artist, especially like around 2013, I became a worship pastor at a church, and I was kind of thrusted into it. But I became a worship pastor, and a lot of my personal life was very stifled because of that. And so, you know, it was kind of weird being seen as like, you're this awesome worship pastor, and then go home, you're the gayest thing trolling through the neighborhood. You know, you're making music that essentially, you know, can be for the LGBT community. And, you know, and I was also writing for a couple LGBT publications. Like, it was a whole clusterfuck of things. But yeah, I would definitely tell myself, just be yourself. Like, stop allowing people to place limits on you, and not just you as a person, but on your creativity. You know, one of the best pieces of, I guess you could say advice, but my cousin, Yvette, she told me, she's like, dude, she's like, you were made to do R&B. She's like, your voice is R&B. And thank goodness I listened to her, because, you know, I probably would not be who I am now without it. But yeah, definitely be yourself. Don't allow people to place limits on you. You know, live in a world as much as you can of no limitations. Even though that sounds like a fantasy, it does sound like one. But in reality, it's not. You can literally create that world yourself.
Yeah. So let's go a little bit more into the music. Like,
yeah.
What's your creative process when you're making music? Because you DJ,
yeah,
you do videos, you do everything. Do you what's your creative process like going into it? Do you come up with a bass idea and then like work around everything, or do you like visualize it all together?
So definitely start with the bass idea. Oftentimes I'll make instrumentals, you know, and I won't even have I will literally have an instrumental for like a year just sitting in my computer, and then I'll go listen to it as I'm like trying to throw stuff away.
Yeah.
And I'll be like, oh, you know, then I start writing to it. Or sometimes I'll make a beat and start writing to it right then and there, depending on the energy and the vibes that I get. But yeah, definitely start out instrumental. That's always been me. Start out with that based on the vibes and how I feel. Then I'll write to it. But I'm one of those, I will sit there and listen to the beat religiously, like over and over and over and over. Like I'll even go, like as I'm writing, I'm listening to the instrumental, and I'm like, I'll write a line or two. Oh, rewind. You know, write another line or two. Rewind. And I will literally, I do that, and I will literally sit there for about, depending on the song, maybe about a good 20 minutes to an hour. So, and it doesn't happen all the time, but for most of my songs, that's how it's happened.
So, do you shoot your own music videos and stuff too?
Yeah, well, okay, so my first two videos I didn't do on my own. I actually had a guy named Joey Sparks in Colorado Springs, shout out to Joey, who actually did my first two videos. And they turned out fantastic. Honestly, could not have asked for better videos. But over time, we're like, look at how much money we could be saving by just, you know, investing into our own equipment.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, in 2022, we went ahead and bought a camera. And then of course we use our, you know, our cell phones as well. I've always had good phones, so always try to make sure that anytime I buy a phone, I'm like, okay, what's the camera like? Because I can't always carry around my Canon. I can't always have that with me. So, yeah.
Or your computer and stuff. Yeah. Phones now you can definitely get super high quality stuff on it. And like any newer phone, a newer iPhone, it doesn't even have to be a Pro.
Right.
Pro iPhone or a Pro Samsung.
Like if you know what you're doing, or if you actually learn what you're doing, you can actually take the video, put it in CapCut, and just play, and you know, just sit there for like a good hour or so and just do the whole video.
Yeah.
You know, so that's pretty much what I do now. Not only is it cheaper, but also allows me to create faster.
Mm-hmm.
You know, allows me to drop faster too. You know, instead of having to wait a couple weeks, you know, for homie to send the files back, you know, things like that. You know, I could just do it right then and there.
Is there any advice that you have for artists in 2026 that want to start making music and get into the music community?
Yeah.
Learn how to do everything?
Yeah. First and foremost, be teachable, be coachable. There are I've met so many people who wants to do what I do, who wants to do what, you know, you do, but they're not coachable. You know, they always, there's like, oh, I already know this, blah, blah, blah. And then as soon as they get into the studio, it's like, you know, so be coachable, be teachable. Definitely, I'm not going to say be humble, because I don't think humble is the right word. I would say definitely after you have learned to be coachable, definitely learn how to execute. Definitely. Like, execution is key for everything. Like, I'll be the first to admit, I have songs sitting on my computer that I never released, or even songs that was just an idea that I ended up sending to someone else. But, you know, at least you did it. That's part of execution. At least you recorded it. At least you took the time to just get it out. So definitely, you know, be coachable, execute, and then also just have fun. Learn to have fun with it. You know, we can all be, I think everyone can be a little bit too serious. I'm serious about what I do as an artist, as a performer, as a DJ, but also learn to have fun.
Yeah.
You know, have fun while you're doing it. Smile. Be approachable as well. You know, don't ever, even though I will admit there are people who think that they can't talk to me, and it's like, well, you kind of look scary. Okay, great. You can still talk to me. Like, I'm a big teddy bear. Like, I'll hug you and everything, you know, and I'll hug you, you know, pat your head, you know, give you a cookie. You know, I'm that dude. But yeah, just be approachable, execute, and be coachable. Those three things. Oh, and actually, I'll give you a fourth. Back to even, you know, what I said earlier, be yourself. You know, I would say not just be yourself, but actually insert you into everything that you do. And what that means is, when I say insert you, meaning that don't give us what you think people want to hear. Don't give us what you think people want to see. Insert you. What do you want to see? How do you want to be heard? What do you want to say? Because ultimately, this is your art. Ultimately, this is coming from your brain, your perspective. Yeah. So, yeah, I would say, yeah, be yourself, but no, insert you. And remember that you are the first audience. Before anyone else, you are your first audience. So, yeah.
Some great advice like that. Do you have anything that you want to mention before we end it? Like any new shows, albums, music, other than the ones you already talked about?
Yeah. So finally, my fourth album, going back to R&B. It's been a minute. My last R&B album came out in 2021. Then we did the hip hop thing. So now I'm like, all right, it's time to bring R&B Dom back now that my voice is a lot better than it was back then. So my new album, D and Chill, is coming out. Finally, I had to push it. It was supposed to come out in April, but because of what we're doing a few things different this time in terms of marketing and in terms of really promoting and pushing the album. So I'm pushing it off to June. Pride Month, of course. But no, D and Chill's coming. R&B Dom is back. We're going to have some fun. We're going to have some, sexy time, and, you never know. A few babies might be made. I don't know what's going to happen, but is going to be a great time. So that's coming. And of course, I have a new single dropping at the beginning of April, which is part of my now one verse series, One Verse 6, which those songs, I don't know what's going on, but people are gravitating towards them and they love them. So I said, okay, fine, I'll keep it going. But yeah, One Verse 6 is coming April 1st. April 1st, One Verse 6 will hit the market, hopefully. Actually, that is the plan for it to hit the market on April 1st. And yeah, we'll just, and there'll also be a short video with that as well. So,
oh yeah.
Yeah.
You want to let the people know where they could find you at your social medias and how they could support you?
Yeah, so I'm literally everywhere. You could actually go to my website, www.DMINQofficial.com. That will pretty much have the majority of my main social handles. Also, I have my Apple Music, Spotify. That'll also be there as well. But you can also look and see the different shows that I've done, different events that I've done. You can also see a review. As one of the clients that I have as a DJ, she was nice enough to give me a review. So I put it on the website as well. You can also see a couple videos as well. So yeah, that'd probably be the easiest way to do it. But yes, I am everywhere. Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, you name it, I'm probably there. So.
Oh yeah. You got anything else to say to the people? Any other shout outs or anything?
Shout out to Cava, Colorado Pueblo for allowing me to come and do events. Shout out to Small Business Showcase out of the Springs. If you do not listen to them, go check them out on KRDO Radio. I believe, I'm not going to try to do the numbers because I'm probably going to screw it up. But look up KRDO Radio. Of course, the host B-Rad Vogelman, one of my good friends. Definitely shout out to you. Shout out to, of course, Joey Sparks for being part of my beginnings as far as music videos are concerned. And just shout out to every person that listens and still supports my music. So thank you guys.
Oh yeah. This is a great interview, great conversation.
Yeah.
I'm glad to sit down with you. And that's what we have for y'all. It's Tony TXNITRUE and Anyone Could Thrive Studios. This was Before the Radio Show. We out.